We have one general public comment card for in-person public comment, one multiple agenda item comment card in person, 8 speakers on the Zoom platform for general, 2 speakers on the Zoom platform for multiple agenda item comment, no comments for single items, and no neighborhood council commentary.
All right, thank you. And our city attorney, Ms. Field, will be here to ensure you stay on topic and within your time frame. We'll start with the one public comment card for in-person, Ron Harbert Twilla.
I see you, buddy. I see you, buddy.
By the officer informed me I'm speaking 3 agenda plus general altogether. That's what she informed me.
You're just doing general public comment now for 1 minute, and then after general public comment period, we'll open it up for the multiple agenda item.
Okay, so
comment.
it's separate, so it's not
Yes.
together. Okay, general only. Okay, I'm here to speak related to the street services, which is related to one of those items. I really want to see some public works in some real works on the street, because many times when I take the bus, drive by on the street, either people living on the street, either there are so many trash on the street, either there are so many feces, urines on the street. And then the problem is that I go through the same route on a weekly basis, and then I do not see any changes for the past 4 or 5 years since I arrived in the United States illegally. But I really want to make sure that we have a huge department, Public of Works. We have huge personnel, but how is that possible that after 10 years, the streets are still very, very dirty and disgusting? That's my general public comment.
And with that, we'll move on to the virtual hands for public comment.
Caller Nora, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. My general public comment is in regards to Scientology and all of its associated entities in Los Angeles and the county thereof. Number one, I want to know if the board, mayor's office, and police will pledge to stop accepting funds from them in the form of Police Activity League, other charities associated with the city, which continues to legitimize their crimes. Number two, the Trump administration has mandated that Homeland Security will be deputizing local police forces as part of their ICE sweeps. And I'm wondering if LAPD, even though they're closely associated with Scientology, will be using that power to go into those churches to round up the people who are here on expired R1 visas working in every single one of Scientology's commercially owned buildings as part of those sweeps as well.
Thank you. That's time. Caller Audit LA, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. And I appreciate Nora calling in. She's one of many, and I mean many, former victims who are abused in so many different ways. It's not my story to tell, so I won't tell it. But the egregious things that she has been through at the blue building, where all these, we come here about the planters and we don't want the street vacated. Well, the reason why we don't want the street vacated is because they don't want eyes on the horrific human atrocities that are going on behind those blue walls. And if you don't believe that that is going on, I would ask you to watch Nora's channel, Oh No Nora, and other survivors' channels like Laura FM, LARA FM, and literally search. These are people who grew up in it, who are horribly abused, and there's so many more. They may not all be public, coming out, having channels, but they are trying to get a voice.
That's time.
Thank you.
Caller Jill, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to still say why are the planters still there. I see CPRA requests with emails going around complaining about us people that are calling about the planters, asking you that you remove them, that so people can see what's going on within the walls. Are you going to be like the people like that didn't believe that Jeffrey Dahmer, who was like the killer, that when the police saw the man escaping him and asking for help, the police didn't help them? And you're going to be like those people, not helping the people that are behind the walls of that building, but though there have been cries for help, that the reason why that we want those planters removed is so that we can see and expose the atrocities that you are blind to. What side of history are you guys going to be on? The side of the people that let that child go back to Jeffrey Dahmer? And we know what the fate of that person was. Bye.
Thank you.
They are so frustrated with
Caller Yvonne, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. I want to offer a caution, a concern, and a request. This is not a protest. I want you to assure me that you have advised your employees and yourselves, of course, about the dangers of the purification, detoxification process, most likely to be offered this weekend to the first responders. And I'd also like to be assured that if they do take that treatment, that their disability that ensues is not going to be costing the citizens of LA. In addition, that they need to file a 700 form for their financial disclosure of the gift that they receive. I also want to say that not all comments in your minutes should be recorded as protests. Thank you.
Thank you. That's time. Caller Miriam, you have 1 minute. Go ahead. Caller Miriam.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Thanks to the CPRA request regarding Scientology matters, like the sidewalk blocking baby caskets, we now see the lies and the misinformation the
baby
cult is trying
caskets.
to feed the Bureau of Street Services, just to avoid following the rules set for all. I want to highlight something I found shocking. Audit LA, the lovely lady in an electric wheelchair you have personally met multiple times, the one who is working tirelessly at the City Hall for disabled rights and victims of Scientology, is being labeled the main agitator, I'm sorry I'm laughing, of Scientology, simply for raising concerns about ADA violations on L. Ron Hubbard Way and abuse within the cult. It's time to call their bullshit and enforce the rules. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Caller Nisa, you have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. They still didn't move those planters. I see it every activity on that street on YouTube, and like every other person in America in the world. Now, other than those planters not being moved, there are people in those buildings that are slave labor. Did the speech I gave you about Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation freeing those slaves mean anything to you? I mean, come on, people. You can easily send trucks to those streets and have them removed. And just because people are protesting doesn't mean they need to be arrested. The only people that need to be arrested is David Miscavige.
That's time. Caller agitator number 2, you have 1 minute. Go ahead. Agitator number 2. You have 1 minute. Sorry about that,
There we
agitator.
go.
You can go ahead now.
Thank you. I was looking for the darn button. Hello, board. It's me again, Mona. Scenario. There is a car blocking a fire hydrant. It is your purview to cite, warn, fine, but also to remove the hazard for safety reasons by towing it away. The planners are your responsibility under Title II of the ADA. To remove the easement is your responsibility. So you can give Scientology orders, make them pay a fine, and have a hearing, but ultimately under Title II, it is your problem. It would take less time than the time of this comment to make it happen. You could call the Bureau of Sanitation and tell them to remove the damn planners. Done, finished, bill back the cult, and then double dip by getting a credit for the Willits decision. Thank you. I yield back my time.
Thank you. Caller Gigi's phone. You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
You hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Why are the planters still there? Why are the planters still there after all this time? Why were they given citations several months ago? And yet the planters are still there. Why did this go to a hearing and there was something about an appeal and then that's not happening, yet the planters are still there? Why are those planters still there? Several frickin' months. We've been coming here complaining about them. You guys do nothing to get them gone. Remove the planters. It's very simple. It should have been done several months ago. Remove the planters today.
Thank you. President Corsand, we have one additional hand raised. Are you all right if I check to see if they'd like to make a comment?
Yes, please.
Caller Juju, are you wishing to offer general public comment or multiple agenda item comment today?
General public comment, please.
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm here to correct some verbiage that Scientology likes to use. Protesters, agitators, anti-religious, bigots, things like that. We are not any of those, really. We are, some of us are protesters, but it's not a group organized protest. We are people individually here to make the community and the council and the police aware of the crimes that are going on in that building. A protester who was taking a nap in his car was swatted the other day right on the corner of L. Ron Hubbard Way. The planners, there was so many police around, the police could barely get planners. There were like police officers and the protester in handcuffs, and it was a fake call by Scientology. They said he had a gun. He could have been murdered or slaughtered right there in the middle of the street.
Thank you. That's time. President Corsand, that's it for our hand raised for general public comment.
Thank you, Ms. Mattson. With that, we'll close the general public comment portion of today's meeting and move on to multiple agenda items public comment. The board will provide an opportunity for members of the public wishing to speak on more than one agenda item during multiple agenda item comment for up to 1 minute per item, up to a total of 3 minutes per meeting. This is the only time to speak on more than one agenda item. And we'll start with the in-person card for Ron Harbert Twilla for items 2, 8, and 4.
I will start with item number 2. This is a very dynamic agenda item. It's about the Metro bus. I'm assuming that all of our commissioner right here, you guys never take the bus. So that's the reason why you guys never understand the issue. Whenever the bus is traveling on the Figueroa, there were a lot of illegal food vendors. They are blocking the bus stop instead of for the street for the bus to stop there and picking up the people. Let's just say a taco truck, a food truck, whatever, they block it. So it making impossible to continue the metro bus services. Continue on item number 4. Again, this is a very, very wrong Harvard Dianetic agenda item because this is about sanitation. I'm not really sure how many of our commissioners are watching the news. If you do watch the news, you will see KTLA, the residents are complaining we have illegal trash dumpster in our neighborhood. We call the public works. We submit a service request. After 1 year, the illegal trash dumpster still there. Why? I mean, this is a very dynamic board. Continue on number 8. This is very interesting. The street services, very, very dynamic street services. The reason why is I spoke with the supervisor Zenu. The supervisor Zenu told me that, they cannot do anything about the people living on the street. They cannot do anything about people urinating on the street. They cannot do anything regarding the people, poop on the street. They said, there are legal requirement and does not allow them to do their job. Therefore, when the Olympic is coming, I want to make sure all of our commissioners understand, when the Olympic is coming, the whole world will see under our Dianetic public work, everybody can just use the street as a public toilet. And then this is considered as okay by our Dianetic board. I spoke with our supervisor, Twyla, supervisor Zenu, supervisor Harbor on the numerous occasions. How can we clean up the street? Because what I want is nothing more. The supervisor, Twyla said, I'm asking for too much. But the only thing I'm asking to walk on the street with safety, to walk on the street without smelling urine, without smelling feces, to walk on the street without being attacked by homeless. But again, our Dianetic Board of Public Works believe I'm asking for too much, but I think I'm only asking for the very basic minimum requirement for safety in the city of LA.
Thank you. Ms. Madsen, we can move on to the virtual platform, please.
Yes, thank you. Audit LA, you have 3 minutes. You can go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, let's start off with the sanitation. L. Ron Hubbard is correct. You can make a report a year earlier, and then it's still, like me and a bunch of us, okay, with these planners. Why can't sanitation do it quicker? Is it that you guys are going to remove, that the sanitation is going to remove these planters, but it's just like we're in queue?
Which item you're speaking on, please?
Oh, I'm off topic. All right, let's go to the median. I want you guys to do the medians, but and see how I can admit when I'm off topic, because I know when I'm off topic. But anyway, let's go to the medians. How can we trust you guys to take care of these medians? You're going to give these contracts out. You're just going to, you're going to approve everything. But then what's going to happen is that Twyla and Zenu and, and Janet Wieland are going to want to decorate that median, okay, let's say, with illegal planters. Are you going to do anything to fix it? No, you're not. So that's why I don't agree with, yes, these projects need to be done, but they need to be monitored afterwards. The public needs to know that we can be assured that if there's any violations to the medians or to, public easements, that you will take action in spite of being afraid of Janet Wieland and Jennifer Krofkoff and Kendrick Moxon. I get they are scary individuals. I mean, I'm their number one agitator. They say, whatever. But you need to be able to follow up. As far as Hyperion, yes, we don't want stinky water. That is a bad thing. So yes, I agree with that. As far as the theater, I'm concerned. I don't think we need to be building theaters. I think we need to be building houses in Palisades and Altadena. So I would leave the theaters to, corporations that can do it. But I would caution not to let Scientology be a part of it because they have these acting classes that are used to recruit people into their cult. And so I would, and I don't think we should be mixed up in that. As far as the street services and what their update is, I hope there's an update to say that they are taking a stand against the street vacation that Janet Whelan, Jennifer Krosskoff, Parker Osmond are all trying to get. And their new attorney, Bill Delvac, because I guess their lawyer, Kendrick Moxon, has been beaten so badly in court by people with no attorneys that they decided to pay a lot of money for Bill Delvac, who I don't know why his clients, he's not putting them on his client list though, because I can't blame him. I'd be embarrassed to list them as a client too.
Thank you. That's time.
Thank you.
Caller Yvonne, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Thank you. I read ahead of the minutes, and so last meeting's comments were for this meeting, and I apologize for that, getting out of sequence. The headwater control system, the component that is being replaced, should have been replaced in the prior retrofit and restoration project. You replace all parts that are available when it's disassembled the first time. When you repeat it, you're doubling the labor and therefore doubling the cost, and not really extending the life of the system. Please watch out for that in the future. Number 3, the theater. I'm for public theaters. However, I think that this is extremely overpriced, and given the economy and the uncertainty of funding that is going to be available through grants from the federal government and so forth, I think it would be wise to just minimize the repairs to the point of being safe and moderately useful. Take out the glamour, but cut this budget significantly. There should also be some kind of information regarding the life or the need for redoing this kind of construction, a $20 million project. What is the life term of that $20 million investment? How will it be amortized and recovered? Number 4, any services that are professional services, those contracts should require 90% of the labor being done in the city. Please do not allow offshoring to India for data calls or health centers or anything like that. You need to bring these jobs home and pay a reasonable price for them. Number 5, the landscaping maintenance. That contract has a 25% over and a 25% under. And the previous contract information does not show that the contract was on target or under budget or significantly changed. That's information you need to make available for yourselves and to the public so that you can make good decisions. Number 7, the climate emergency plan sounds wonderful to this point. However, it does not deal with...
That's time.
All right.
President Corson, we have one additional hand raised. Shall I check on, see if they'd like to make comment?
Yes.
Caller Nisa, would you like to offer multiple agenda item comment today?
I'll give a little of it. Now, I've been noticing.
Caller Nisa, which items would you like to speak on?
Oh, geez. You know what? I don't know. What's item 2?
Item
I
2,
was-
request for authority to Los Angeles County Metropolitan Transportation Authority G-Line Bus Rapid Transit Improvements Project.
Yeah, okay. About that,
You have 1 minute. Go ahead.
okay. Now, I've noticed too that Scientology has their own bus that they use, and I think people will confuse it if you let them use that bus right along with the other buses. I mean, I would be confused if they would use that bus, and plus they use tents and they have everybody crammed into one bus. Now you got to look into that. I'll yield back the rest of my time.
Thank you. President Corson, that's the end of our hand raise.
Thank you. With that, we'll close the general public comment multi-agenda item public comment for today's meeting.